Soft economic numbers have been coming out the past couple of months, specifically looking at the retail sector and some up and down numbers out of manufacturing. Here with us to talk about it from a small business side is Brian Hamilton of Sageworks. Brian, thanks so much for being here.
Great to be here, yeah.
So what do you think? Construction, is it looking strong in the small business sector?
Right, very strong. They were late to the party. So the party started about 4 years ago. The economy started getting better. Construction companies started doing better about 2 years ago, but they're up about 10% in sales and their net margins are good. So that is good, considering they represent about 1 million jobs as well.
So when we say small businesses in the construction sector, what kind of size are we talking about?
Well, we're really looking at companies with fewer than 100 employees, typically, roughly in that range, maybe 10 to 20 million in sales and below.
Mm-hmm. And what about manufacturing? Is this moving along with construction?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I'll answer it, but here's the thing. We track about 1,200 industries, and there's about 7 or 8 major sort of primary industries. If you asked me that question about 4 or 5 years ago, 2009, of those 1,200 sectors, every single one of them had sales decreases. About 20 of them were growing. Right now, it's the opposite. They're all growing, not consistently all growing the same way, but in the major sectors, now retail, you alluded to it, manufacturing, the service businesses, they're growing about 10%. Year on end, so that's a lot,
Sure. So the retail sector, we've been looking at a lot of these larger retailers. Some soft numbers have been coming out, but are the smaller businesses, are they doing the same?
They're kicking along. No, they're actually pretty good. So again, small businesses, the privately held companies, the retail companies are growing well, and they have been for about 3 years. A little bit lower by a percent or so from last year, but that is not notable and not significant.
Okay, and looking ahead across all of these sectors, are you expecting more growth going into the second half of 2013?
I'm always afraid of that question. That's always the future everyone wants to know. Yeah. Here's what I'm a little concerned with. I don't know really, right? But here's what's going on. We are 4 years into an economic growth period, and it's been consistent. It really has been. If you look past over the past 800 years or so, the average economic growth period in the U.S. is about 4 years. The average recessionary cycle is about a year. So we're statistically at the back end of that expansionary cycle. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it's 6 years, maybe it's 7, maybe we'll never go into another recession. But we're on the back end, and that worries me a little bit, especially with the employment number being so high.
Brian, certainly a different atmosphere. Thanks so much for being with us here today.
Great to be here, yeah. Right.
And you heard it from Brian, new times, new economic times, at least small businesses are still looking a little bit strong among all the other soft and up and down economic data. I'm Joe Doe, The Street.